Hello, I'm Jamie.
Hello, I'm Mark, and it's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate. It's Tuesday night, it's 7:30.
It's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate.
I ain't out there.
Where are you?
God, no way. It's blowing a hoolie and it's chucking down with rain.
Not raining here. Finally stopped.
Makes a change.
Hello!
Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. There's going to be a very barky dog because he's left his ball in the dark garden.
Oh, dear.
And he's just going to bark at us.
He'll be alright. He'll be alright.
Dash.
How was school?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Really?
Dash. It's just me.
Is it really good?
Yeah. It's been miserable. It's really dark here.
Oh, it has been miserable, hasn't it?
You.
It's been miserable for a week at least.
Yeah, when we were at school, there was like massive puddles on the playground and stuff.
It's been terrible. Oh dear.
The light started flashing.
That means the battery's nearly flat.
Good job, I brought a spare battery.
You are very, you know.
That's your Ryobi
You know.
Ryobi thingy bob.
Ryobi light.
It's
George.
not even working.
In my best Rashinda voice, what did you make this week?
We made this.
I saw that. That is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, did you see the reel that we did?
I did, yeah. So what is it?
Ladybug House.
Ladybug house.
There's simple steps how to make it on the reel.
Yeah.
That was our project for Sunday whilst Mummy was cleaning the house.
I did see that.
I wonder what we're going to do this weekend, Dad.
Maybe a boat.
An ark.
Yeah, make a wooden boat and then steer it around the flood.
We get a boat, and we need a raft.
You will, won't you? Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen like last year.
Hopefully not. We can but hope.
And hopefully that we don't get ice all over the garden.
Wow.
Or a frozen lake either.
No.
I think we'll get ice, but hopefully not for a while yet.
If there's a frozen lake, probably just drive on it.
Be in his box that you made.
Yeah, he'll be in his box. In a few weeks, Jimmy, he'll be in his box.
Who will?
Nice warm box thing.
Oh, yeah. He will, that'd be good.
Dad, won't he?
Yep. Mummy, come down so you can escort George. It's a long way down our dark garden on your own, isn't it?
Yeah, and probably, knowing me, I'll get scared and run.
And then slip over.
Yeah.
And then...
So, George, tell me about what gardening you like to do quickly before Mummy gets there.
Well, we made this a week before.
Yeah, that's more like a bit of DIY. That's not gardening.
Any gardening you like to do?
I like planting and stuff.
I tell you what, Daddy needs to get the book of our guest.
What, this
Ta-da!
book?
Yay!
Ta-da! Little growers.
They are. See, you need to work your way through that.
Little growers.
Way ahead of you.
Yeah.
I presumed you had it.
George, yeah, you like mowing the grass, don't you?
Yeah, have you seen the reel of me doing the grass?
You like
Yeah.
mowing the grass?
Yeah, it does
Anything involving power tools, you like using my electronic hoe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I also like using electronic
Hedge cutters, secateurs.
Yeah,
lawnmower.
Anything that you can hurt yourself badly
definitely.
on.
Yeah.
Dangerous George.
See, look, Julia said you got to get growing.
Get growing.
Get reading that book.
You like sowing seeds, don't you?
Yeah, I do like sowing seeds, yeah. I've done radishes before. I've done
Sunflowers.
sunflowers. Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, hurry up, Mum.
Maybe you should do some courgettes.
Yeah, because I'm useless at it. And pumpkins.
And
Do them
pumpkins.
as well.
I did see Steph's comment on my post.
What, pumpkin envy?
She's very envious of my pumpkins. I was going to put a bit of a post comment back, but I thought no, better not.
We've got one. It's about that big.
Really?
Apart from that, it's been a terrible growing season. Actually.
Right.
It's not been the best, George, has it?
Yeah.
And
Got
it's
about
still
years full of.
and it's
tomato.
still going that way, isn't it? It's wet and horrible. It's not a nice, lovely autumn.
Wet autumn, which is the last thing we needed.
We've had enough.
Yeah, right now
Horrible.
Nibbles is parked because you know how much it's raining. Well, it has been raining. The gardens is flooded, so Nibbles will just probably drive into it and get broken or.
Yeah.
or
There's big puddles on the grass, so I've told the mower to stay in its charging point
Yeah.
until tomorrow.
until tomorrow, when it's hopefully gone down a little.
Yeah,
Because I
definitely.
But you don't
I
want to
just-
break it down.
I just saw a ghost walking behind with a torch.
Oh, hello. Oh, for goodness sake. It's raining again, Jamie.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Great.
Everyone then, George.
See you,
Bye,
George.
everyone, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you, mate.
Booyah!
Is that his little
I can hear it twice.
word now?
That's that's George's catchphrase.
Evening, Mark.
The dog has the ball now, so he won't bark.
Oh,
apart from for me to throw the ball. Of course.
Oh, let's talk weather. I know we just have with George, but it's been absolutely horrendous.
Awful. I mean, today has been the worst day of the week, considering it was supposed to be yesterday. It was actually today for us. It's
Yeah.
literally not stopped raining all day. And it rained all evening last night. It's just awful.
Why? Bloody weather. Ridiculous.
And we were supposed to be having work starting this week on digging out big shrubs and trees and stuff in the garden. So I've
do that.
had a mini digger sat doing nothing for 2 days whilst we're
Oh,
paying for
God.
it. So
You can't. That'll just churn everything up.
it's going to make a mess. So hopefully it'll dry out a bit tomorrow and we'll be able to crack on. I mean, it's only a mini digger. It's like the smallest digger you could possibly get.
Yeah, but as soon as the tracks slip a bit or you turn and that's it. It'll munch it all up. What you should do is get your shovels out and start digging it like I had to when I come down.
Yeah.
Not going to hear.
Oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting paid. We're paying somebody else to do it.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah, the designers, contractors are coming in to start clearing some of the big areas.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, they're going to make an awful mess, I fear, everywhere.
Yeah, that won't be good. Will not be good.
It's a shame it wasn't done a couple of weeks ago when it was
Lovely and
drier.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a lot less messy.
Did you see my harvest on Sunday?
Did I? Yeah. Wow, what a harvest that was.
Awesome, isn't it? I didn't think for weeks now. I've been thinking, oh God, I ain't gonna have nothing.
You were thinking I'm going to have to go down Tesco's and buy
Yes.
the wonkiest looking bed.
I tell you what, Kim said that. She said you're gonna go to Tesco's and just roll it all in a puddle and a mud, didn't you, and then put it on the table. But no, I've been thinking, oh no, what am I going to harvest? But when you actually look into it, there's loads, absolute loads. It's all fantastic.
Yeah, we can start.
I
Beans.
can't believe the amount of people that came round and were just shocked that you can grow that. They just didn't realise.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of people were going, "What are they? What are them colourful things next to those tomatoes?" They're tomatoes. There was 4 or 5 normal red-ish ones round,
then,
but they didn't know what all the different coloured ones. Just
like crushed hearts
yeah.
and stuff like that. Broken
just
up.
not a clue, not a foggiest idea.
It's a sorry state of affairs, isn't
Yeah,
it? When people don't know what a tomato is,
yeah,
even if it, just because it's not round and red.
like a snooker ball. Yeah, yeah. It's that definitely opened my eyes a bit. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Everyone coming up and asking about things. It was liked
They
it.
inspired a few more people to get growing.
It definitely did. There was quite a few that say, "Well, I've got a little patch, but I haven't done nothing. But I'm going to now." So even if one person done something more, that's worth it, isn't it?
Well, you don't even need a lot of space. Like one bed, you could grow 5 or 6 things in it,
Easy.
and you wouldn't get a massive harvest, but you'd get something.
Yeah.
Better than nothing.
But
And then
things
the next
like
year, do a bit more.
radish and beetroot and lettuce and things, you can just successfully sow. You want a couple of rows of each, and then as you pull them out, stick another seed in, and
Well, you could easily have enough to, like for your salad needs. You only need like a veg tub type size thing, and you could have enough salad for, the whole family for the whole year. Just keep successfully sowing, and you don't need loads of room. You could do that even if you hadn't even got a proper garden. You could do that outside your front door.
Leanne just said, "I've blown the school kids' minds this week by taking some black beauties to try." Exactly, that's the thing. They'll go, "Oh no, I can't eat black tomato."
Black tomato.
But they taste nice as well. That's the thing. They taste so much better.
Like Ben's back. Flashing lights. At some point, I'm going to be plunged into darkness.
You are, yeah. You have to get your little
Jenny Wren says that they're stuck in our village. Every way out is flooded.
Oh no. Yeah, it's just been horrendous. Some of the stories I've seen on the news is shocking.
Jenny's further south than me, I think. She's
poor buggers. Really, really bad.
Good at all.
All right, so I think we'll be able to talk a lot more veg with our fantastic guest today. So maybe we should get her in.
Yeah, she'll be itching to get involved in the conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, where do we start with tonight's guest?
Oh.
She is a podcaster, an author, a workshopper, a self-taught gardener, a garden consultant, a broadcaster, and a camper vanner, and also a survivor of Glastonbury. Here she is. It's Julia Parker at Parker's Patch.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
I love my list of titles. The last one is the best.
The survivor of Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Is that your proudest moment of the year?
To date.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. I can remember when you come back and you're telling me all about it. That was amazing.
It was kind of mind-blowing, but we were lucky with the weather. I think probably if it had rained, I wouldn't have lasted 2 days, I have to say.
No. But it was the other way, wasn't it? It was really dusty and dirty.
Yeah. It was kind of horrendous, but still amazing. And I think I don't ever want to go back because I think I could ruin it. I don't think anything would be as good as the first time. But anyway, yeah, highly recommend it if anyone can get a ticket. That's the thing, they're like gold dust.
I've never done it. And I've done lots of smaller ones, but I don't think I could handle a big festival like that.
Well, you could. If I could do it, you could do it. It's good, but you've got the camper vans. You're halfway there.
Oh yeah, that was another part of your title, wasn't it? That was where you used your camper van. So two new experiences in one.
I know. Anyway, what's going to be the third? This going live with you two.
Yeah, that's definitely an experience.
Oh yeah, it will be. How are you, Julia? All right?
Yes, I'm all right, but I've got my woolly jumper on. I'm holed up in the house.
Oh, I know. It's terrible.
It's just cold, isn't it?
We put our heating on first time last night.
Shocking behaviour.
I know it is. It's awful. Trust me, I didn't want to, but when Teresa goes and puts 2 coats on and says, I'm going to go and put my dressing gown on as well, you think, oh.
When my children were smaller, I got into this really ridiculous competitive competition with a local friend that we had this last man standing for putting the heating on. And my 2 girls reminded me the other day that it was mid-November and they were leaving. But I wanted to win the cup.
Wow.
I mean, I was a cruel parent.
Dear, mid-November. Whatever was it like when you got up in the morning? Oh, horrible.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I used to make them come downstairs and dress by the Arga. It's the only thing that was pumping out heat.
Oh, well, so you had a little bit of heat. The Arga
Yeah, in the
done quite well.
kitchen, but not upstairs. And it was pretty cold. I don't know what possessed me. It was my competitive spirit.
Oh, dear. And so did you win the cup?
I did win one year, yeah. I was very proud to win it. And then it became a bit ridiculous because, honestly, I then discovered that she had electric heaters she'd plug in. I was thinking, but we haven't turned the heating on. That's cheating.
Cheating.
Yeah, come on, you've got no heat source at all. Otherwise, you turned it on. That's just...
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's heating of some description. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, talking of heating, I flicked the switch in my greenhouse tonight to keep the chilies a bit happier.
Thank you.
Just because it's so cold and wet.
Yeah. How was that heated? What is it, electric?
Yeah, but I've just put on, it's just got a, like a tube heater. It's not hot,
No.
but it will just hopefully keep them a bit happier. I've never done that before this side of Christmas.
No.
Anyway.
It's been miserable, isn't it? I'm not expecting much more now with my chilies.
No.
It's been quite mild.
No.
It's been raining,
Well,
but we haven't had it's not cold. It's been probably 14 degrees today.
I don't know. We've had a few cold nights.
Yeah, we have. It dropped to about 5 at the weekend.
Yeah, it's cold at the week.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep them going for as long as I can, but soon I'll have to starve them of water and they'll all ripen and that'll be it.
Yeah. Definitely. Have you ever overwintered a chili or a pepper?
I've tried. It hasn't worked.
No.
I've
tried. They're supposed to be perennial, aren't they? But I've never made it work.
Yeah, they are, and the same with the lemongrass. In fact, how's your lemongrass, Jamie?
It's good. I took it to Swaffham on Sunday, and they were sitting there all proud, and people kept saying, "What's that? What's that?" And I told them it was.
Oh, well done.
It was a real showstopper. They like that.
Well, I managed to overwinter one, so you could try that with your lemongrass and see how you get on.
I'll have to, yeah, because they haven't actually grown any more stalks yet. They're lovely and tall and quite, wispy, but they haven't got any more stalks. Did you see Jamie Oliver the other night?
No.
He pulled his up out the garden, and there was about 15 lemongrass stalks coming off the side of it.
Wow. All nice and thick.
Yeah.
Like the ones you'd buy. Okay. Well, he's got probably 15 gardeners and
exactly, yeah.
whatever else.
Whilst he's not been looking, somebody's gone and swapped it for a big plant.
Maybe. Well, I thought it was interesting.
Done.
The one I grew from the supermarket has got 5 stems,
Brilliant.
which is brilliant, and they're really fat. They're probably as fat as my thumb, so that's really good. That's hugely successful. But the ones I sowed from seed, I must have 15, 20 stems, but they're all tiny. They're really thin.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's quite a good experiment. So I guess if I'd potted them into a bigger pot, they might have got bigger, or if we'd had a better summer, they probably would have got fatter and better. They're still all edible, but I'll probably have to use 3 stalks as opposed to 1 in my pot.
So when did you plant your Tesco ones? When did you do the whole glass thing? Can you remember?
I'm trying to think. Was it about April time?
I think it was a lot earlier than mine, wasn't it? I'm sure
I think I did it in April.
I don't think mine was that early. So I think that might be why I was a bit later than yours.
You were definitely later, but the weather's not been kind. So I think try it next year. It could be totally different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'll bring these in. I'll bring these 2 in and put them on the kitchen windowsill. Much to Teresa's disgust, she won't like them. Big old thing sitting on a windowsill, but they're going to stay there.
But you could harvest the stems, leave 1 stem, and cut the rest of all the grasses off right back down. Leave about ½ an inch just above the soil, and just let it overwinter and dry it out. It doesn't need to be a full plant to overwinter.
Oh, right, okay.
Because if you try and overwinter a chili plant, you cut the whole main stem off. It's the same thing with the lemongrass.
So what about the ginger then? Because that's still only there's.
Yeah. I think the ginger, again, it's the lack of heat with the summer. So mine's been successful, but it's not massive. So I've got great long, they're probably about that, my stems, but I was quite earlier. But the little one I did has only got one little stalk. It's just cold.
Yeah.
But you could cut off a bit and I'll overwinter the rest. Same thing again, cut off the leaves. You can use the leaves, they're all edible.
Yeah, definitely. I will do.
On both the lemongrass and the ginger, so there's no waste.
No.
It's
Yeah,
just a
I
shame.
will do. Yeah, it's so cold at night time. Just the thing. When it's been 25 degrees in the greenhouse and it drops down to 10 even, that's still a big change, isn't it?
But it's not even that. It's the lack of constant heat. It's the erratic, one really hot day, you know, maybe 3 days of nice weather and then miserable again. It's just, you know, if you're a heat-loving plant, you're not going to do well.
So basically it starts to get revved up over them 3 days and all of a sudden, boom, just drops again.
Well, they need constant heat. That's the problem. They need, you know, a temperate climate. So, yeah, it's just annoying. If it had been the COVID year, we'd all have them coming out of our ears.
Yeah.
Yes, that was amazing year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I actually kept a lemongrass over winter last year. I bought a plant from Urban Herbs last year and put it in my kitchen over winter, and it was absolutely fine. Didn't die down at all, and then I've just put it back outside again.
Oh, and you didn't cut the grasses off, you just let it do its thing all winter?
Yeah, it's just the grass.
Oh, there we are, Jamie.
Did you get more stalks come off then, Mark?
Yeah, because the cat kept eating it.
I don't think my cat would eat that. I'll try him out on it. New diet for pumpkin cat.
My cat will eat anything. She's a garbage cat. She'll just, like, if there's something there, she'll have it.
It's useful.
Yeah. She just, you know, as soon as you've emptied the sink, if there's anything in the plug, she'll go and have it. She's
got one like that. I've got absolutely horrendous.
Is there an issue that the humans that look after her actually don't feed her?
We don't actually feed her any actual cat food. We just live off the scraps.
Mind you, in the old days, the cat food wasn't a thing. Cats used to eat the leftovers from everybody's food.
And get out there and get the mice and rats.
Yeah, well, mine does do that too.
Yeah, mine doesn't. By the time I've opened the pouch of the cat food and started to put it in the bowl, she's banging her teeth on the bottom of the bowl to eat it. It's just horrendous.
Wow.
I keep saying to Teresa, she must have worms, but she hasn't. She's wormed properly, and it's just I've never seen a cat eat. So I think it's because she's grown up with 3 Labradors, probably.
Ah, she knows she's got to eat it first. Yeah, my pumpkin's far too sport. He gets pandered to here.
Yeah.
No other competition for him.
No. Let's talk gardening. How did you get into gardening then, Julia?
Good question. Well, years ago I used to work in publishing, and I used to be a picture researcher. So I used to find photographs of books and magazines, and I got into the niche of homes and gardens. And so I would spend hours and days meeting garden photographers, going through their archives, just generally immersing myself in the most beautiful gardens and plants. And then I slightly blagged my way to a new job, as you do, which was going to be the picture editor for a gardening magazine. I mean, I knew I loved gardens, but I didn't really know many Latin names or much else about it. Anyway, got the job and then had to really learn on my feet. So I learned quite quickly, and it was quite a good magazine because it would have a section on, you know, plant partners, color combinations, step by step, how to. So there was a practical, there was a Latin section, there were close-ups. It was just brilliant, and I just absorbed all of that and then absolutely loved it, and just translated that. Then when we moved from a flat to a house in London, I would just be so keen to do all those ideas in a tiny postage stamp garden, and it just, use the pun, grew from that. And I would be sent I know I've got bad jokes, I'd be sent to the Chelsea Flower Show on a press pass, and I took that as a given. It was like I didn't really realize how special that was. I used to waltz in, wander around, meet people, look at all the ideas and come back. Had no idea really that those tickets even then were like gold dust. So I just grew to love it, and all the photographers were really kind and really lovely to me, and pretty much took me under their wing and taught me I'd ring up and say, oh, have you got a photo of a close-up of, let me think of something. Instead of a chrysanthemum, I'd probably say a chrysanthemum or something. And someone like Andrew Lawson or Clive Nichols say, oh, Julia, that's not how you pronounce it, And I just learnt that way, and they were all really kind and lovely. And I guess that's how I learnt. So it was obviously in me, but this brought it all out.
Yeah.
And then later on, when we left, so then when we moved in London, we had a much bigger garden, and I created a kitchen garden at the end of the garden. And I made we'd had my first daughter, Olivia, by that stage. I made a little track for her little push along to go all the way around to the outside. And sort of in the middle, we grew things like artichokes and rhubarb and all mad things. And everybody would tease me, but it was really good fun. And we'd have peas, and she was about 2 or 3 at that stage, and it was good. It was I just loved it. I loved the satisfaction of showing her how to grow something you can go and eat it. And then when we moved here to Sussex, I inherited a much bigger garden, and it was a blank canvas, so I just grew everything and more. And then all the kind of mums and dads at the local school would say, oh gosh, I hear you grew your own salad or something the other day. And I'd say, yeah. And they said, well, can you teach us? And I said, no, I can't teach you. I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing. And I eventually realised that they didn't. And one of them came up to me one day and said, look, can we pay you for us to come around, and you can just teach us how to grow lettuce and carrots and things? And I went, oh no, I can't take any money. And anyway, eventually I charged them all £5.
Yeah.
They all came round, sat round in the kitchen, and I realised as I started talking that I knew quite a bit more, and I had great enjoyment teaching them what to do. So that's how all the courses, and how I guess I realised that I did know more, and that it was a second passion. So now it's become a second career.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And
I
then
realised that the other day, like I said to Mark before you come in, that on Sunday in Swaffham, people don't actually realise how easy it is.
I know. I was listening to you, and I get that. So I get, people saying, oh gosh, so if I sow 1 carrot seed, will that be 1 carrot or a bunch of carrots? And you sort of want to laugh, but it's not funny, because how would they know?
If you don't know, you don't know. That's the thing.
Exactly. It's our job to teach them.
Yeah. So I had a little bit of because my dad had our front garden as his allotment, really. So I had a little bit from when I was tiny.
Okay.
So as I grew up, I grew out of it, and then obviously 4 or 5 years back, I got back into it. But did you have anything as you were a child? Any grandparents or?
Yeah. So my dad was really into things. So he would have quite prized dahlias, and then he'd grow the normal things like the runner beans and the tomatoes, and he'd have a little swap with one of his friends down the road. It was really sweet. I guess, my grandmother was a great flower grower and had kind of like a home allotment at the end of her garden. I mean, it was like you wouldn't call it a kitchen garden, it was more like an allotment, but she was really productive. And I just remember going around and eating raspberries and thinking that was a real treat. Because in my day, I'm sure I'm much, much older than you two, but in my day, we only really ate seasonally. So I remember that strawberry season, we would go and pick your own.
Yeah, definitely.
And they would be so delicious. And the same with raspberries was a treat. And now, I mean, you can get anything any time of year, but we know that growing our own is just full of flavour.
Yeah. So there was a little seed planted back when you were a child then. So
there must have been. I just didn't really appreciate it. Too busy doing other things.
Exactly. Sorry, Mark, what did you can say? I'll put it in.
I said it tastes much better as well when it's seasonal, rather than the stuff you buy from the supermarkets, because they're all just forced to be as plump and perfect as possible.
I know. They're forced, they're picked too early, they're fed with things that we don't particularly want to ingest. And I think, I do think there's a whole wave though, don't you, of growing our own food and people trying to eat more seasonally and discovering foods that perhaps went out of favour, out of fashion, that now now filling the hungry gap when we get to it. All the kale and the spinach and things that kind of as children we think, oh, I'm not going to eat that, that's revolting. But you can have kale chips, as the book tells you, because I'm sure you've read through page by page, Mark. Can make your own kale chips. There's all sorts of things you can do. It doesn't have to be boiled, which is kind of how we were brought up.
Exactly.
Beans, I would never have eaten a broad bean, but I eat them in salads and they're delicious. But powdery school brought beans were gross.
Oh, horrible.
I think
But
that's part of the problem. People have cooked things so poorly for so long that people will go, oh, no, not runner beans, they're horrible. Because they've been picked when they're all stringy and horrible.
Exactly.
And spoiled. And
Yeah.
it's all about cooking, isn't it? There's so many different ways you can cook things.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, and you can just pickle them. You haven't even got to cook them. But
No.
we are lucky, aren't we? I mean, thank goodness for Google, because we can just Google any recipe we want, and actually it doesn't cost a lot of money. We haven't got to spend loads of money on expensive cookbooks anymore, have we? We can just find a recipe, which is helpful.
Yeah, that is the difference, isn't it? We have got it all at fingertips these days.
Good and bad, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's always a bad side to everything, but
Yeah.
I can remember the 4 big saucepans boiling on a Sunday morning for about 3 hours, with all the different veg in, everything boiled till it's near enough mush.
Oh, I used to do a deal with my lovely mum, God bless her, and the deal was that I didn't have to eat cabbage, but if it was cooked, but I was allowed to eat it if I ate it raw. And it was delicious. Little bit of salt, just washed.
Of course it is, and so much better for you. It's still got all the goodness in it.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. I just tasted better raw.
Exactly.
The flavour's not been boiled out of it.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Yuck. Anyway, I was going to show you something that I showed one of my harvests. I don't know what you two want to chat about, but I thought this was quite interesting.
Anything.
Well, talking of one of my successes, so can you see
Oh,
the colours on
lovely.
that?
Yes.
We were already talking about that last week, weren't we? We were talking about different types of corn that were colourful.
Ah, well, I've got loads of them. It's been a really successful harvest.
Wow.
Look at the colour, the difference. Aren't they fun? That's a great thing to grow for children.
Yeah. So are they for popcorn?
Yes. So it's a variety called glass gem corn, and it's all for popping corn. So you just dry them. I mean, you see them in America, don't you? These great displays. They keep these bits on. I mean, mine look a bit like a rocket that's gone wrong, but I'll work out how to make them look attractive. And then when they're dry, but this is, you hear that?
Yeah.
Plasticky. When they're totally dry, you just pluck them all off, scrape them off, and then I just put them in a brown paper bag in the microwave for 2 minutes. And they're delicious. It's quite incredible. It's like magic. They're really tasty. You don't need to add anything. No sugar, no salt. Just eat them.
Are they the colour they are after they're popped?
No, they're all white.
Oh, you don't get a hit of pink or purple on.
No.
Oh, right, okay.
No. It's just all like normal popcorn.
Right,
No, that's a good question though, actually. No, but they're amazing. And you get an awful lot of popcorn from one of those cobs.
Yeah, I
Half
bet.
a cob would be enough.
What would happen if you put the whole corn on the cob in the microwave?
You mean the whole thing?
You'd fill your microwave up.
I don't know what would happen to the leaves. They'd probably go soggy.
Surely the corn would still pop though. Once it is all dry, if you just shove the whole thing in a bag and put it in the microwave, would they pop off the thing, or would it all be attached?
Shall I do an experiment and report back later?
An experiment.
If you don't hear from me, the whole house is burnt down.
Julie's going to do a reel and a microwave door explodes off the front.
Oh dear. I will try. I'll report back.
Yeah, have a go. Brilliant.
Yes, I don't know is the honest answer. But it's a good thing to grow. You could do that maybe, but George might like to do that.
I think we'll definitely try that. We were talking about it the other day about colourful things.
Yeah.
Colourful corn varieties. So
It makes a difference, I think. If anything's a good colour, it's like eating a rainbow, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more attractive.
And once you've dried it out, it's stored for winter as well. So it's another good thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, I've got loads. I'm just going to show. I've got a whole trug full. You see that?
Oh yeah.
It's full. You can't really see that. It's full of them. So that'll keep us going for a couple of years because it will last. There's no shelf life.
Right.
I've never thought about that because I've got lots of sweet corn still on there. I know you haven't, Julia. I'm not going to talk about that. But I always think, oh no, I've got to get them off. If you don't eat them, I blanch them and freeze them. But what? Just dry them exactly like that and save that. That's still popcorn, isn't it?
Yeah,
That'll still work.
Well, it would do, but I don't think it'll be as good. I don't think your sweet corn would be as good because it's a different variety. I'm not sure it goes. Well, why don't you try it?
I will.
I don't think it will pop very well, but you can report back. That could be your experiment.
Okay.
We'll have
We'll
to think
do
of
that.
something for Mark now. What's yours going to be?
Just grow corn in general would be quite an experiment for me.
We'll just crack corny jokes.
Yeah.
But if it didn't work, Jamie, that would just be your seed for next year anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So your sweet corn was munched by badgers, you think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really upsetting. It was really annoying. And why did they only go? I mean, luckily they only went for one crop, but why did they leave everything else intact and just go for the sweet corn?
Because sweet corn's probably the most tastiest thing out there,
I
really.
know, but they probably live 4 fields away. How did they sniff that out? So annoying. It's like the pigeons flew over and then they told the deer and then the deer told the fox and then the fox told the badger. Should write another book.
Yes.
Children's
That's a children's book about the badgers eating the corn, yeah.
Next Gruffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I've been going wrong. Yeah, so I don't know. It was upsetting, but it's, we all know as growers, there is always something, isn't there? But it's so addictive. We want to keep coming back. We're gluttons for punishment. But I like that. It's a good journey. I love it. I love growing my own.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You can't beat it. You really can't.
No, you can't. It's the best thing. And it's, if you've been away, you want to know what's happened. If you've been away for a night, I rush out there. I mean, look, I'm growing this ridiculous loofah at the moment. I mean, talk about sowing something early. So I started off in January knowing I'd have 3 failed months and maybe one might make it. So one makes it. It's literally littered with loofahs now. And it's not going to do anything because they're not going to grow because it's so cold.
I've been watching that. That has been growing this last week or so, hasn't it?
I know, but it's probably that. I mean, that is not a helpful loofah in any shape or form. I need it. It's going to scrub my baby finger.
Well, you've been seeing a different finger every day. It's been growing.
I know.
It's better than mine. Mark just showed you his loofah plant.
Oh, so
show it again, Mark.
I wasn't looking. Hang on, put my glasses on. Oh, but you've got flowers at the top.
Yeah, there's flowers all over it, but I don't think they're pollinated because there's male ones and the female ones are only just starting to open out now.
Yeah, but you could pollinate them yourself. I've been pollinating mine.
Yeah, I need to. I've been waiting for the female flowers to open. They're there. The little clusters of them are there, but they've just not opened yet.
It's so strange.
Hurry
The
up.
females are always behind the males. The males always flower first, then suddenly the females just pop up all over.
Yeah. It's like I needed another 2 months of growing season to get somewhere.
It's just because it's not been very warm. That's the only thing. It's so annoying. But try next year because at least you can grow it.
Well, to be honest, it's bigger than the one that I grew last year. Last year it was about this big, and yeah, I literally had like one male flower, and then it flooded. So yeah, at least this year I've got a plant that goes up to the roof of my polytunnel. So
yeah,
a little bit each year.
And you've got flowers.
But that's what I've got this year. My plant is about this big, just stuck in the corner of the greenhouse doing nothing.
Yeah. That's not going to do anything. But I think the fact that Mark and I have got flowers and some fruit, you'll get something. And I don't know how warm does it stay in the polytunnel?
It's probably about 10 degrees in here at night at the moment.
Okay, so as long as it doesn't get frosted and too cold, it might actually limp on a bit more. And if we get a bit of sun, that'll really heat up in there, won't it?
Yeah, it's on the sunniest side in the sunniest corner as well, so it's it should get quite a lot of heat during the day. And I've been starting shutting the door and stuff, so it should keep a lot.
The other thing the thing that I found more successve was growing a birdhouse gourd or a bottle gourd.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
A really similar seed, but I found them a lot easier to grow. And I've got 2 hanging up waiting for the birds to move in.
Have you?
Really big, sizable birdhouses. They're incredible. So you could try that next year. If you can get hold of some seeds.
Hollow it out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was allowed to use the drill. I went on a drill course. Should have seen my husband's face when I said, I'm just off to get the drill. It was like, whoa! Yes, I'm ready.
Brilliant.
Anyway, I did it. It was brilliant. And you shake all the seeds out. It was really easy. And then I drilled 2 holes at the top and hung it up, but nothing moved in this year. So I think the birds like to wait. They like to wait a year or so to make sure something's safe, or they just don't like the look of my birdhouse. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. But that was a really fun thing to do.
Oh, yeah, I bet. I bet it was.
I think
Inedible.
Jen and Bashinda have done one. I think they've grown one this year from 2 girls, 1 plot. I'm sure I saw them with a bottle shape.
Okay.
Okay. I know Hayley, who lives not far from me, did that. She took them off on a talk somewhere, which was really successful. It's just fun to grow something unusual. I always try and grow something unusual every year. Do you do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've got lots of different squash this year.
Right.
And that's
your nice haughty one.
Oh no. You can't believe how many people just stopped and said, What is that? They thought I'd stuck the actual warts on there. Why would I do that?
Ready?
Didn't you say I've got a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be orange and smooth, but look at it.
Yeah. Better take it to the doctors.
Exactly.
So I like growing pumpkins and squash. I really love it because they work really well down my archway.
Yeah, it looks really impressive. That's good. You've got quite a bit of space, haven't you, for growing?
Yeah.
What I can see.
Yeah, it's quite big.
Yeah, you're lucky. Now, I've got to ask you a question, Jamie. It doesn't look as if you're in the pub tonight, so you're not in your second home.
I'm not in the. See, Mark, you're getting me a reputation.
Yeah, that all on your own.
Yeah, I've only joined a few lives before, but I've noticed that often you're in the pub for work.
I'm not in the pub. I pop up the pub. No, we haven't been to the pub tonight at all, I'd like to say.
Oh, okay. So everybody listening?
Yes.
You have witnesses.
Let's talk about your book, Julia. Get off the subject of pubs, please.
Okay. Oh, here we have one that we prepared earlier.
Where did that pop out from then?
Well, so a number of years ago, a friend contacted me and said, would I write, that's cute, would I write for a Tesco magazine, for a food magazine that Tesco were pushing out once a month in the stores? And I said, oh yeah, happily do that, but I've never written before. And she said, no, you can do it. And so I tried my hand and with a bit of encouragement did it. And that was a monthly article. And the girl who asked me was Gilly, my co-author, who used to be editor of the Sainsbury's magazine. Mm-hmm. And after about 9 months, I really loved it. And she was brilliant to work with. It just all folded. There wasn't enough funding. I mean, magazines come and go, which was a real shame because they did a lovely double-page spread. They had illustrations. I'd do my top of the crops and what's in season and all this sort of stuff. And it was good fun. And so a number of years later, she contacted me out of the blue and said, have you got a book in you? Do you fancy writing a book? And I said, yes, actually, weirdly, I've got about 3 titles in my head. I would love to do one. She said, well, I'd like to too. And she'd had 5 books published with a publisher.
Oh, wow.
But she was living in Singapore. They'd moved with her husband's work. And she said, let's do it. So I kind of went, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds quite easy. And so we set up a Google Drive and we would have FaceTime weekly meetings and we would literally deluge this Google Drive with ideas, book titles, everything that we had inside us. And she had 3 young children. Mine were teens and one coming out of school at that stage. And so we kind of had different experience, but I knew where she was coming from because everything she wanted to do was how I raised the girls, growing your own, eating seasonally, what that sort of thing. Yeah. So we eventually came up with let's do a children's gardening and cookery book because her expertise is cookery, mine's gardening. And we brainstormed the title, came up with the title, and that's how it started. And we just naively went into it thinking, let's not ask a publisher. She said, oh no, publishers are kind of slightly tricky these days. They don't really pay you royalties. They won't let you choose your book cover. They've got a real say in how things are published because they know their market. But we really wanted to do this from our hearts. That sounds a bit crass, isn't it? But we really were quite passionate about how we wanted it to look. And we wanted to create, and Mark will dispute this if he thinks differently, a book that was for children but for adults, nannies, grandparents, stepfathers, godchildren, anyone who would also look at that book who's involved with children and want to pick it up. So make it look like a beautiful illustrated coffee table book. Because a lot of children's books, step by step, diagrams, they're cheap to produce, primary colours to make them attractive for children. But if you think about it, it's not really only the children who are going to pick up that book. It's everyone. And it's our age and upwards and younger as well, an older brother and older sister. So we thought we hired a photographer who had that really lovely look. Some of the pictures she captured I thought were really beautiful. It was all photographed in my garden. And so we created what we thought was a coffee table book that would look nice on its own. Somebody will want to pick it up, but it's also full of instructions that are easy to follow, but pleasing on the eye. Mark?
Definitely is. Definitely is.
Okay, so that's good. And the other thing about it is that
Not
often...
sure about this one, though.
What, the snails?
What is it?
Snail sandwiches.
We can beat the French.
It's not actual snails.
No, maybe we should have put a caveat in that. No real snails were killed in this experiment. Anyway, the other thing about it is that all the veg, it's very real because I grew it all. So not, often when you have cookery books or books where it involves food, people go and buy all the ingredients and they'll polish the radishes, they look all perfect from the local farmer's market. But I grew all of that. So some of it looks a bit wonky, but that's what you're going to get. So we felt that that was a good thing to do. And that's how it came back. It took about a year for us to write. And she was brilliant. She's just really quick and fast and a great wordsmith. Took me a bit longer. The gardening side was a bit more meaty. You've got a bit more to put in. And then we together did the front bit and then the weekend activities as an extra little thing at the end, which was fun. And then all of a sudden we were building a publishing company and it was then a whole new world. It was quite interesting. I'm not sure I'd do that again. I mean, I now run Letters Publishing, but it's quite tough. You've got to sort out the ISBN numbers, you've got to get a distribution person on board because we couldn't hold the copies of the books to send them out ourselves. She was in Singapore. We printed 3,000 to begin with, and we were sort of guessing how many we thought we could sell and how many we should print, and it costs less per copy, obviously, the more you print. So we got a distribution involved, and that has a cost, but you have to have them, otherwise you can't send out nationally. There's such a lot that comes into play. So yeah, but anyway, here we are nearly 3 years on and it's sold really well. We're on the second print run, but I still think no one else is fighting for us. There's no big publisher behind us. It's me effectively. And I just identify independent retailers that I know aren't stocking it. And I march in with a copy. I still march in. Hello, would you like to stock? And 9 times out of 10, they say yes, because to begin with, I was really embarrassed. I go, oh, can I ask? Can't I ask? It's really embarrassing. But now I know the book is good, then I'm happy and I'm proud. But it's taken quite a long time to do that. It's hard selling your own stuff.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Total imposter syndrome.
Definitely.
Oh.
But it's, I got 3 contacts last week. So I'm thinking Christmas is coming up. It's a good time to sell them. There was peaks and troughs, and it's always on Amazon and it trickles off on Amazon, but kind of quite like a bit more than a trickle off at the moment. So yes, so that's how the book came about. And it was, it's good. I mean, I learnt masses and I learnt that I could write ish and direct as well. So yeah, I think everyone's got a book in them, haven't they? But it's not necessarily a non-fiction book.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it is nice. Yeah. Like you say, you can pick it up. It's sat in the conservatory. If I've harvested something, I'll go and have a look, see if there's something in there that we could make with it.
Yeah.
So it's very useful. I like books that, you don't have to sit and read them from cover to cover.
I agree.
You can keep dipping in and out. You've got 5 minutes to sit and read something. You can go and read one of the activities or one of the recipes or something like that. It's a really nice, and like you say, it's a very pretty book to just be sat in the conservatory at all times. It doesn't have to be shoved on a bookcase somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. And also what I really was keen to do was that growing something wasn't going to be costly. So most of those projects are they're all pretty much in containers, so that you don't actually have to have a garden. Right. You could have a balcony. Even if you don't have any outdoor space, you could hang 2 hanging baskets outside your front door and grow strawberries. You know, the idea was that you didn't have to, you know, a parent saying, oh, the child wants to garden. Oh my God, I got to go to the garden centre, I got to buy compost, I got to buy seed trays. You don't have to do any of that, right. Which I think is really good. And, you know, reusing as much as you can. I think, interestingly, before I started writing it, I realised how sustainable I want to be by the fact that I naturally go to reuse things, yogurt pots, supermarket cartons, whatever it is, tins, without realising. I probably should have pushed that a bit more at the time, but that's how I've always gardened. Yeah. And now that's a massive thing, isn't it? I mean, I everyone's embarrassed if I go to Pizza Express down here. Can guarantee I'm leaving with at least 2 tomato tins.
Is that where you get them from?
Yes.
Ah, because I've got the 2 small ones. Can you remember? I need to go to Pizza Express, and you just go to ask me if they've got any spare tins.
Because they use those big tins. They literally recycle them. So I literally leave. Oh, like there's 2 tins on tomorrow.
Oh, right. Trace out tomorrow.
And when I run my
I always
workshop,
see your big tins. They're brilliant.
They are brilliant. They're brilliant for basil because they'll keep it all summer. But when I run my workshops, I've got 2 coming up next month. I'll have something growing in them. And then it's really funny, about a week or 2 weeks later, I get little messages from people that have been, oh, by the way, Julia, went to the Pizza Express. I've got 3.
You get a reputation of Pizza
And one
Express.
of them, one client who I help on a regular basis, she works in the city. She says when she goes into London, they look at her as if she's absolutely mad. She's asking for a big tin.
I always wonder, I kept seeing them and thought, surely you can't use that much tomato puree in your kitchen at home.
No, I don't.
Oh, fantastic. Right, I'm going to Pizza Express.
Yeah, she's got to be a little extra nice to them, and they usually always give you a tin.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Just go in and say, Julia sent me.
Yes.
I do. When I post something, often Pizza Express will share it or say thank you or something. So they're all, you know, it's all good publicity for them in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Of course it is. Definitely is, yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Wow, that's really made me happy. I'm going to Pizza Express next week.
Other pizza restaurants are available, obviously, before we get in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is, I haven't seen those large tins in the other pizza restaurants, though.
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pizza Express.
That other one, the other hut one, I bet they don't use posh ones like that.
I haven't seen one of those for a long time, the hut one.
We're not the BBC anyway. We can say what we want, Mark.
We can. Actually, have we got anyone listening?
Yes.
Hooray!
Talking about the BBC, you go and talk on Sundays with Pat Marsh, don't you?
I do. I'm on this Sunday as well, actually. Yeah, I do. I love it. So BBC, he's at BBC Radio Kent, but it goes out to Kent, Sussex and Surrey. It goes out to all 3. Yeah, that's good fun. It's a Q&A, so people can dial in, email, WhatsApp, have a chat. You did that in Norfolk, didn't you?
I used to go and I mainly done it from home, but I wasn't really the expert. I was more of, it was a regular thing that we would talk about my garden. I would tell them what I was doing, and we would discuss what I was doing in the garden. I wasn't the expert.
So how long were you on for?
On at that time, 20 minutes probably.
Okay, yeah. Well, I sort of started off like that on BBC Radio Sussex. I'd have a 15-minute slot, and then it all changed, and then everything moved, and so now I'm on as the quasi-expert. I wouldn't put myself in that bracket, but I do really love it. It is a baptism of fire, though. You've no idea what questions you're getting.
Yeah.
Occasionally, if I go in a bit earlier, they'll say, oh, we've had an email, and then everything else, literally bring it all on. I'm thinking on my feet. And if I don't know, I just don't know. And I normally now say, well, let's just ask the listeners, because there's always a listener that likes to ring in. And
you go. Perfect. That's the
Yeah.
way.
You can't possibly be an expert in everything, you guys.
No.
No.
So much
No.
to
But
know.
also, I make it quite clear that when I'm on, it should really be fruit and veg, because that's my main area that
Yeah.
I'm passionate about. And of course, they all ignore that.
How'd you grow a hydrangea?
I get lots of that. But my
Yeah.
first time I was on, if I've said this before, sorry, Jamie, you could have a little sleep in the pub corner. Um, the first call I got was a lady that lives somewhere in deepest, darkest Kent, and she basically rang up and said, oh, I grew some really fantastic vegetables, had about 10 of them, and they all died. And then she went silent. And so I was on the end of the phone, you know, with my headphones on, looking at the presenter who I'd never met before. And I said, oh, okay, so they died. So are you saying that someone kind of killed them or something happened overnight? I couldn't work out what was going on. And she said, no, yes, you're right. Someone came in and killed them in the night. And to begin with, my brain was thinking, oh, Julia, it's one of your nutty friends is ringing it. You know, this lady can't be for real. But I thought, don't give it away. You're going to have to carry on and be professional. It's my first time. So I carried on and I sort of asked more questions. And anyway, we established quite quickly that she wasn't one of my friends mucking around, luckily. And that she had this perpetrator had come in at night, and she'd seen him scale the wall, but he'd come in at midnight and he'd killed her. Anyway, it was a very funny first call, but I kind of thought anything after that became a little easier.
What did she expect you to do for that?
Well, I think what she really wanted to know was if weed killer had been used, if indeed anyone had
I
come and killed
see.
them,
Right. I
whether
see.
she
I
could
get
then grow veg again. So yeah, it was
I
a
get
tricky one.
you know. I get
And
you.
then at the end we were laughing because I said to the presenter, "Oh, it's like Midsummer Murders," and he said, "Oh, no one's been murdered." And then we went, "No, the carrots have been murdered." It was getting very childish. It was quite funny.
Oh dear. Hilarious. Yeah, I do listen. I normally listen again to your one because I listen to our local one, which is now Cambridge, Cambridge,
Okay.
Norfolk, and Suffolk, and you're both on exactly the same time. So I normally listen to that first because I go on and have a chat with them quite regularly.
Oh,
So
that's nice. Oh, you're one of those callers.
I am. I'm going to ring in and say someone's killed all my veg.
Well, yeah, okay. At least you won't be doing that on Sunday because you'll be busy listening to the other one.
I might not this time. Might have a swap over and ring in.
No, but it's good fun, and it's nice going to the studio. It's very different, you know, dialing in as opposed to going in. It's good.
Yeah, definitely. I went into the Norwich studios a couple of times. It is really good. But mainly I was at home on the phone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's still, you know, aren't we lucky we can do all of that?
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Really, really good.
Yeah. Now, Mark, I've been wanting to ask you about your palette fame.
Not that one. The blue one.
No, the very famous one.
The viral planter.
Social media is a funny thing, isn't it?
Bizarre. I think had it gone viral when we saw you at Hampton Court? Yeah, it must have done. That was when it was properly blowing up. When we
nuts. Yeah. Your reach was about 1.5 million.
No, it was bigger than that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 14 million, something ridiculous at that point. It was absolutely insane.
It's amazing. It's good. It's good fun though, isn't it?
I mean, it's just dumb luck though, isn't it, at the end of the day? Because you could post the same thing tomorrow and it get nowhere. It's just that sweet spot. Yeah. You know, I'll never repeat it again, no doubt.
Yeah, I
know. Well, you have really. You've had 2 virals.
Well, yeah, a year apart, but
not. The second one.
Well, the first one I had was a year earlier, which was just me at work digging up a Hebe, and that went viral and I think it was 2.6 million or something.
Oh my word!
So not as bad as not as crazy as the next one, but yeah. But again, just pure dumb luck. Nothing, you know, literally just throwing a video out there. No thinking, oh, this is going to go viral. It's you know, just doing my thing.
Yeah, you know? I think that's the key. Just doing your thing is how we all need to treat Instagram because it's. it's a creative outlet, isn't it? It's good fun. But you can't do it if you want to, you know, gain followers or make a business, because there's no guarantee. And also the way everything gets pushed around at the moment, it doesn't really make sense.
No.
Well,
No,
there
it's
does seem
a
to be
bit
people
random.
there are people that seem to have figured out a flow. You know, there's the people that have got, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers that seem to have regularly things going viral regularly. But I think that's just once you've got that core of followers, as long as you keep putting out the same sort of content, then it always goes.
Yes, you've got to kind of work out what they want, haven't you? I had a fig that was 1.6 million, and all I did, it was like the shortest reel I've ever done. I thought, I know, I'll just do a picture of me picking a fig and putting it in a basket with about 10 others, and that got 1.6 million.
Crazy.
And I can't to this day understand. I mean, it's lovely, but it's not kind of, you know.
Yeah, nothing special about it or anything like that.
I'm
you
not
put no extra effort in.
No, and I'm not teaching anyone anything about it.
No. Did you get lots of followers from that one?
I did.
Then?
I got lots more. Yes. Yeah. But then it all suddenly stops a few days later.
Well, mine's finally hit a wall this week, so it's. I mean,
that's a long run.
5 months of it steadily ticking over.
But you've added about 60,000 to your followers, haven't you? From that.
About 58,000 followers. Not just that reel, because there was another one that was. I mean, it's only got 130,000 views or something. But
only.
It was like those two at the same time were just bubbling away. So it's almost like I just hit a sweet spot at one point, and it just went crazy.
That's brilliant.
It's stopped now. I'm back to normal again.
I'm happy if I get about 100.
There's no normal.
The problem is when you have 70,000 followers, you also lose quite a lot of followers. So when it slows down, you're actually going backwards because you lose quite a lot of followers every week as well.
But I think everyone's losing followers at the moment. I think it's kind of changing a bit. So I don't think you're alone in that.
Yeah, I think the algorithm's changing again, isn't it? It's to a very slowed down.
It's quite hard to keep up, but I just keep doing what I do because it's good fun.
And it
is good fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it is quite sad for people that are so consumed by, you know, numbers and stuff like that, that they're driving for it, and you know, and they must drive them mad. You know, trying to get this magic, you know, amount of followers, and when you get that many, you then want that many. It could drive people insane. You can see why people break down, which is why I've never put any, you know, pressure on myself. It's just a hobby. You know, I don't care if 3 million people see it. It's just doing what I do, and I think that's
the right
you've got to be.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to ask you 2 questions now. Turning the tables.
We've got a podcaster on our podcast. We're getting tables turned.
I want to talk about that before you go anyway. So go on then.
Well, I only want to know, how come you 2 have got into gardening then? What's your backstory?
Go on, Mark. You go first. You go first. Go on.
I have been a gardener from day one, basically. I've always gardened. Yeah, I've been in horticulture since I was 15.
So did you?
I worked at
did you always know you wanted to be in gardening and outside and in nature?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Day one, when I was at school, I said I wanted to be a gardener to the careers advisor, and he said, "Oh, you need to do business studies then." It's like, okay. And then when I left school, I actually went to a garden designer and said, how do I get into it? Because not that I wanted to be a garden designer, I wanted to be a gardener. And he said, "Oh, you need to go and study horticulture." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Why didn't anybody tell me that?"
Yeah. So that's what you did.
Yeah. And then I was from 15. I was working weekends at a local garden centre, and then I went full time there. And then I went and worked at a lawn treatment firm for a few years, and then I got the job that I'm in now, where I've been for 12 years. Started off as assistant gardener and now head gardener.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a really good story. You're very lucky you knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I've always, when I was younger, and I was always like making little gardens in my mum and dad's garden. I used to chop off bits off the conifer and stick them in the grass and make a hedge in the grass. Make it section off little sections and grow runner beans and all sorts of stuff. It was my parents must have used to look out the window and go, "What's he doing now?"
But what's so
You didn't realise you
they
were
let
doing
you do
hardwood
that?
cuttings.
Yeah, hardwood cuttings and didn't know about it.
Yeah, but it's lovely that they let you do that, and
Yeah.
you could follow your passion.
Definitely. Yeah, they did give me a lot of
Good.
freedom in the garden.
Good parenting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Jamie, over to you.
So, like I said, my dad's had a veg patch, and my granddad did. So it was. I was always outside when I was younger, up until about maybe 14, when other things took over, girls and things,
Ooh.
and then nothing at all, apart from mowing lawns in my houses that I've had up until lockdown. So it was March 19,
Okay.
was it?
Yes.
Yeah, March 19 when
No,
we all got locked down. Was it 19 or 20?
March 20.
20. Yeah, when we all got locked down, we were here, and I just said, oh, because out the back of ours, it was a rough piece of land. It was about, well, it's as wide as our garden, wide as our plot, really, which is, I don't know, 25 metres and about 6 metres deep. And I said to Teresa, I'm going to go and make myself a little veggie patch out there. So I made Jamie's little allotment, and that's it. I started from there, and I didn't do any of the Instagram to start with. Just done it. My first year was brilliant. Had a fantastic year. Second year was awful, terrible. My work got really busy.
Okay.
So I
Is that the
neglected
work
it a
in
bit.
the pub or your day job?
Yes, that work in the pub. That was really busy. So that's when I wrote into Anna Perra at Radio Norfolk and said about doing something on the garden party with them, and she said, "Yeah, it'd be great. We'll do a slot." So that's where that started, just for a bit of motivation for me, really. That got me going, and then after that started, and I started doing my Instagram.
Brilliant. So you got the bug.
And then 2 years ago, so this is my second growing season in my new plot, which I stole a part of Teresa's horse field and fenced it off, and that's what you see on Instagram now.
But is that why then today you had to pay penance? So you grabbed a bit of her land, but you've got to pick up the horse poop?
Exactly.
I like her
there
style.
You go.
Free manure.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's free manure, but it's not well rotted yet.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, there's a big old muck heap down the bottom of the field.
You won't need plank
Do you put
for much longer.
Do you put manure on there? Because I always shy away from it because I think it's full of weeds.
I don't, to be honest, because I'm a plant grow champion. That's only plant grow. For the last 2 years, I've just had plant grow in my allotment, so I haven't had to. But if that ever changed, yes, I would. I don't know whether I'd put it on. I wouldn't put it on. I don't think I'd put it on neat. I'd compost it first, maybe.
Yeah.
Just mix it through the compost bins, just different layers all the way through.
That could be your next project. Have one bed with and one bed with just the rocket grow and see what the comparison is. I was kind of quite
plant
know
grow,
how well.
Julia, plant grow.
Sorry,
not rocket grow. We can't mention that.
Sorry,
I'll get in trouble.
No longer a plant grow champion. The rival brand's been mentioned.
Oh dear. No, that would be good. I wouldn't mind having doing maybe one bed with some.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good. Right.
So what was
you wanted to get off at about past, but it's too late now.
It's gone past. Oh yeah, we're way beyond that now. Anyway, you wanted to ask me something. I can't what you're going to
We've got to talk about Two Good Gardeners.
Oh.
It's absolutely brilliant, and I every time a new episode comes out, that's the first thing I listen to every morning on that morning.
Are you being serious?
Brilliant podcast. Oh yeah, 100%.
That's really nice of you to say so thank you. We recorded that one today. I thought it was quite funny, but anyway, it's coming out on Friday. But it's, you never know, do you? We try and share things that are interesting, and people will grow and pick up tidbits. And we are quite different because Dan is a horticulturalist and I'm more fruit and veg, a bit fluffy on the side, and it just seems to work, I think. But I don't know, sometimes we record and I think, oh, was that too long? You know, do people listen? I don't know. I mean, if you listen to a podcast, do you listen to it in one fell swoop, or do you listen to it in, or have breaks?
Well, it depends what I'm doing at work, because a lot of the time if I'm on my own at work, I have these in, and I just constant podcast all the way through the day. So yeah, it just plays from one to the next to the next to the next, and that's what I do. I don't listen to much music, to be honest.
No, okay, that's interesting. So what did you say, Mark?
And on the commute, I always listen to a podcast.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, whenever if I'm in the car on my own, I do. But if Teresa's in there, she doesn't want to listen to gardening all the time, so I don't.
Yeah, we listen to it in the car. Oh, not me in the car, but other podcasts. But no, that's good. So we've planned today. We're going to go step outside and do another interview, because we did an interview last year with Fergus Garrett at Great Dixter. Which was amazing, and I always think it's quite different to mix things up a bit rather than just have the same two voices. But then on the flip side, Dan and I didn't want to have one of those podcasts where every week we don't say much and it's always a gardener or a head gardener or someone relevant to gardening that sort of does the rounds, because quite often you hear the same people doing the rounds, and we were quite keen. It's really hard to think who you could get on, who you want to get on. Anyway, we're doing quite a special person on Thursday. We're going to Kent. I'm going to say no more, but that's going to be in two episodes time. But she's a really interesting person, so hopefully that will captivate people and they won't know about her.
And it's a she.
It's a she. It's a she.
Yeah. On a postcard, everyone.
I would be surprised anyway, but so that's quite exciting. So we recorded Friday's episode today, and we're going out into the field on Thursday to do the interview, and that's quite good fun. There's so much preparation for a podcast, though. There's an awful lot, and it's we're lucky to have our sponsorships. We've got a new sponsor this series too, so we've got Gold Leaf Gloves, which is really fantastic. But it's a lot of hard work. You've got to be quite committed to do a podcast.
Definitely a commitment.
Well, this is now converted to a podcast when we're finished, and that goes up as well. So
which is brilliant, and actually that's a really good way of doing it, because what we do is that we think about topics, we discuss it, we then share a Google Drive, we write a script, edit that, then we record, then we then edit the transcript that comes back, then we send that to a producer, then we do one more listen, and then it goes out. It's quite labor intensive.
No, through the garden gate is what you get.
It does get slightly edited, but the vast majority is just
so
beginning and outro, and stick it on.
So who does that then? Who's in charge? The man with the hat. Get a hat.
And most of the editing is Marc cutting my swear words out.
You haven't sworn tonight.
Of course I haven't, because I've got a lady on the screen.
Quite right.
I think we've actually got quite good at less swear words these days. Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
It does. Let's just talk about Dan quickly. I love Dan. I've met him so many times because he comes down to East Ruston quite a bit for
his
a lovely man. He's absolutely fantastic.
He is. He's a hoot, isn't he?
Yeah, really, really, really nice.
Yeah, he is. He's so knowledgeable. I'm always learning from Dan. And even if we've scripted something and we know exactly what we're going to say, suddenly I'll say something that's maybe not scripted, and suddenly Dan yes, and he just goes off, and out comes this amazing tidbit that we were not prepared for, but it's still fascinating that he knew that, or he'd seen it, or he'd read about it. His brain is such a sort of big sponge of years and years of horticulture, and a bit like you, Mark. He gardened as a lad, always been passionate, always did stuff in his parents' garden, again supportive parents, And I love that about him. And the fact that he's had this serious career for John Lewis as a buyer and, realised later in life that his absolute passion was to go back to gardening and to be brave and to set up an online gardening business. It's not easy.
No.
So he's not. I mean, that's how the podcast came about, because I'd heard about him through a local friend down here, and she suddenly one day said, "Oh, Julia, there's this new guy. He's setting up a gardening business. You're going to absolutely love him. I know someone who can introduce you to him, and maybe he'll take your book and all this sort of thing." And so I contacted him, and just the friendship, we just hit it off immediately.
Yeah, he's lovely. Really, really nice.
Yeah, he's good. He works hard though. He's a grafter. He's always, every weekend. I don't know how he does it.
Isn't it? I don't know. I really don't know. There's so many different things that, mainly Teresa and I, we go around these fairs and things, and you think, these people at the caterers with the stalls and things, every weekend they are up and down the country, constant.
But it's the setup. So, for example, Dan is going to be at the Chiswick Flower Market on Sunday. It's obviously really good. It's worth him going. But he's up at something like 4:30 in the morning because he lives in deepest, darkest Kent. He's got to drive to Chiswick, set it all up single-handedly. He doesn't have, anyone to do it with him.
No.
John's at home looking after the dogs or whatever he's doing. So it's manual labour. Yeah. It's tiring. You've then got to be lovely to everyone because, they may or may not buy all day. He must down some wine when he gets home.
He must make enough money to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, he wouldn't bother, would he?
It's obviously worth it, but well, not all of them. Sometimes they're not, but you have to tread, don't you? You have to do them all, and you've got to put yourself out there. New business. It's a bit like me trotting in with the little girl's cookbook. I keep a copy in my car just in case.
I suppose it's not all just about selling there and then. It's about getting his name out to people for the website as well.
That's the thing. And a lot of things, marketing can be a slow grow. Someone might hear about him, see him at a fair, and then 9 months later they might suddenly want to buy something, but they'll remember him because he's very memorable, isn't he? He's good fun. He dresses well for the part as well, doesn't he? His brightly coloured glasses and a great top, and he's now found QVC fame as well.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good. He's doing brilliant.
Yeah, but that makes him even busy, so I'm quite pleased he's having a rest from that at the moment.
Right.
He's back on next year.
Lovely Dan.
Yeah.
So, at this point, Mark has a quick fire round of questions for you.
Hardest questions going on the whole night.
Bang them out. Bang, bang, bang. No thinking.
Come on then.
Mind. Start it off nice and easy. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. And can I say, it has to be proper coffee.
No? Proper,
okay,
yes.
No instant.
No instant. Definitely the same here. That is for
Can
sure.
I just say 1 second, just butt in. I went down to see Mark and Chris at Mark's work last week.
Yeah.
And when they brought coffee out, it was proper coffee in a cafetiere. In a shed. It was brilliant.
I love that. Why have you not posted a photo of that? That's the way to
go. Definitely not a shed. I think you painted the picture of some tumbling down shed.
Well,
I've probably got the nicest gardener's room.
Oh, you have, yeah. Sorry.
Can you post a picture tomorrow so we can see it?
Definitely. I'll go live with the cafetiere going down.
Do you let it stand for the right amount of time, though? A few minutes?
Definitely. If I've got anything to do with it, Chris tends to be a bit trigger happy because he wants his coffee quick.
Oh, not the same.
Stop!
Go on then, question 2.
I think we know the answer to this one already anyway. Flowers or edibles?
Edibles.
Of course. Beach or forest?
Beach.
Ooh.
Go to emoji in a text message.
Say that again.
Go to emoji. So the little pictures you do on text. What's your most?
Oh, I see. What's my go-to? Sorry, I didn't think you meant. Oh God, laughing face because I'm normally mucking about with someone.
It's a very common one, that one, I think. If you could have only one snack for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cake.
Cake.
Oh, yes.
Good choice.
What kind of cake?
Dogs. Oh, go on then.
Well, it's seasonal. So
Seasonal.
today, spiced apple cake,
Oh, my goodness.
because I make them. So it has to be, because I know I said coffee, spanner in the works here. But every afternoon after 3:30, it can't be before, and it has to be in fine bone china. I have my tea leaves.
Oh.
I know, and I don't read them, but I have to have my tea leaves, and I have to have a slice of cake.
Mm.
That's heavenly.
It's my naughty habit, actually. But anyway, yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Thought that'd be the choice as well.
Yeah.
I'm so predictable.
Finish the sentence. My perfect day would be
Spending it in the kitchen garden.
Oh, lovely.
sowing seeds or potting on.
Oh, sowing seeds.
Oh, she fell that side. Most people fall potting on.
Do.
Spring or summer.
Summer.
Today's favourite plant.
Ta-da!
Popping
Here's what
corn.
I grew earlier. Unlimited compost or unlimited seed.
Oh, processing. I'm actually going to say seed, but because fed up with compost.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the compost. I'm always disappointed. I'm on a quest to find lovely compost for seed sowing.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I'm experimenting with coir, because it's always the same. It's never, whereas compost at the moment, every time you open a bag, it's different consistency, different ingredients. Whereas
I know.
coir at least is consistent.
Well, it is consistent, but it dries out. You've got to add something to it, haven't you? I find it dries out quite quickly.
I didn't get on with it at all. That block we got, Mark, I didn't get on with it.
I had really good germination with it.
Yeah, mine was poor.
I think it needs something else in it.
I do tend to put perlite in it.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, mix it.
Okay.
So
probably that's the answer. Mixing lots of things to make the best compost.
Yeah. I think you've got to make your own now and just figure out what medium you need, and then how you grow best.
Yeah.
There's no silver bullet anymore. Whereas peat used to be quite generic, that it worked for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas now nothing's great.
No, I know.
No one answer for everybody.
Yeah. Well, did you read? There was a lot. I know we're in the middle of question time, but there was a lot in the summer about people buying compost and sowing their seeds or potting up and finding it burnt all their seedlings. It was just too rich.
Yeah.
Or had weed killer in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of weed killer, isn't there? That's happening loads.
Anyway, we digress. Sorry. Is that my last question?
No.
Last one is, if you could choose one plant to describe yourself, what would it be?
Oh my goodness, I should really pick up popping corn and say, because I'm popping mad, but no, I won't do that. One plant that would describe me. I'm going to say...
And our last guest, who was Aid Sellers, he chose tromboncino and he wouldn't go into any further detail.
We definitely won't say any more. I think I might go for something like ginger, because it's kind of got longevity because you can keep it going. It's kind of fun in the summer, grows really well. It's slightly different, full of flavour, but I think I'll go for ginger.
Brilliant. Good one.
If you get a flower, they're beautiful as well.
Well, exactly. I haven't achieved that because I want to eat them, because as you
You
didn't
just
know
stopped
her
there.
mother was on a live and joining it and doing the family duty.
Oh, lovely. Thanks ever so much, Julia. It's been brilliant. Really, really good fun.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I wasn't sure what to expect, but time flew, so there we are.
It
So we didn't need
did.
to.
Sorry, we overran a
No,
little bit.
no,
I'm sorry.
that was fine. I just thought I wouldn't be able to chat for very long.
I knew different.
Amazing how long you can chat when you're talking what you love.
Exactly.
That's very true. Yeah. Anyway, have
Keep
a
going.
good evening, you two, and lovely to
And
see you. And
you.
thanks for having me on.
And
Thanks,
thank
Julia.
you very
Bye.
much, Julia.
Bye.
There we go. Wonderful Julia.
Yeah, Julia Parker. Go and have a look at the Two Good Gardeners, everybody. It's a brilliant, really, really good podcast.
Yeah, so
Really good.
I've been listening today to a few
Mm-hmm.
episodes. It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I listen every month, every week.
Every week. They're every 2
Yeah.
weeks, aren't they? I don't think they're every week.
I think every week, but they do series of 8, I think, and then they have a break
Right.
and a series of 8 again. I think it's 8. Yes, Joe, she is fab, isn't she? She's absolutely fantastic. A really lovely lady. Really
Yeah,
nice.
she was lovely. I only met her this year at Hampton Court for the first time. I didn't even know of her before that meeting at Hampton Court where you introduced
Really?
her. Yeah, didn't even know who she was, which is bizarre, isn't it? Because everybody knows who Julia is, but
Yes.
completely missed that one. Go get
You
a
do
book.
find that, don't you? You do find that. Yeah, go and buy a book for the kids. I suppose it's not just for kids,
No,
is it? It's
I think anyone that
for
is
beginners.
growing their own-
Any beginner.
yeah, there's so much in there.
Yeah.
I think anyone would find value from it. And even, like she said, just look at the pictures. There's some really, really nice pictures of stuff in here. Like, it's a really nice book.
I think it's good that they used Julia's produce for the pictures, not perfect ones. Because if somebody grows a really wonky carrot and they've seen, oh, it should be like this, that you get a bit downhearted for the first time.
Well, I think stuff like that is normalising wonky veg. Like we're all, people are so used to what you can buy at the supermarkets. As soon as you get something slightly different, it's weird. It should be normal. Like we shouldn't have perfect vegetables.
No,
we've got to get used to wonky veg.
Keep going on about Swaffham on Sunday, but I took wonky carrots there, proper, like twisted and God knows what.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, "Oh, look at them! Look what they're carrots." It's just really opened my eyes to people not knowing what things are, apart from being in the supermarket.
Yeah, people just don't experience things really, and it's far too easy for everybody to, you can get strawberries every day of the year.
Yeah.
You can get anything you want. If you've got money, you can go and get it at a shop. Why would you need to go and grow?
That's where people need to know that grow your own tastes better and better for you. What was Steph saying about? Well, she put a post on last week about strawberries, about the bought ones with the if you cut them in half, you can see the white coming all the way through it, where they've been forced.
If you get a store-bought tomato, looking at my tomatoes, if you get a store-bought strawberry and cut it in half, you'll get red around the outside, and most of the centre of it is white because it hasn't. It's just water. Yeah, pump it full of nutrients and all the rest of it, and it hasn't.
So that dilutes the strawberry taste straight away.
Oh, they're awful. Strawberries from a shop just taste like watered down strawberries. They don't taste like strawberries.
Like a tomato does.
Yeah. You go chop a strawberry in half out of the veg vat, they're like blood red all the way through.
And you can smell it instantly. And
the juice as well. You cut a strawberry in half from a shop and it's dry inside as well. It's not juicy. They're just...
Because they're grown like that so they don't bruise when they're travelling.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not actually...
They're firmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of education needs to happen, isn't it?
The problem is we've all got so used to having everything whenever we want it that we need to get back to more seasonal eating, because that's the way you get into more grow your own, because and it's also, you don't look forward to things. I look forward to strawberries from the veg garden. I know I can get strawberries all year round, but
Yeah.
I know that when those strawberries are ready in the veg garden, they're so much nicer than anything you can get the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I won't eat strawberries the rest of the year, but when those strawberries are ripe, I'm having them.
Yeah,
And the same
definitely.
with tomatoes. When you've got your own tomatoes, I'll eat tomatoes, but I very rarely buy a tomato to have any other time of the year.
I don't, and I've said that for a couple of years. I know Ben used to take the mick out of me for it, but I don't buy them. I won't buy them if they're on on a meal
Yeah, if they're
or
on a
whatever.
meal or whatever
You eat
out,
them. You don't waste them. You eat them, but I don't go to the supermarket and buy a pack of
you don't
6
buy
snooker ball things. I just don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, yeah, and like asparagus, I look forward every spring to that asparagus coming up and us having it for 8 to 10 weeks of, beautiful asparagus. And we very rarely buy asparagus from the shop now because it just tastes so much different. It's just not like anything you can get from your own garden.
No.
And like you said,
What's that, Jenny?
you don't need a massive amount of space. Anybody can grow a little bit in a pot or in a hanging basket or in those veg truck things or planter.
Anything. And I'm sure if you did start off with a little planter,
You'll get more.
planter made out of blue pallet, but even that, you can grow so much in there, couldn't you? That's deep as well, isn't it? You could grow some great carrots and things. But then next year you think, oh, I want a bigger space. And I'm sure, Pete, that would happen.
Build another 3, and then the next year you'll have 8. It's so addictive.
Yeah.
But you always. I mean, I've had a bad year in the veg garden because of stuff out of my control, but it doesn't mean I haven't enjoyed growing. My polytunnel's been a massive success.
Yeah.
I've had the best tomato year I've ever had. We've had plenty of potatoes. Our asparagus were brilliant. I challenge somebody to fail at growing something in their own garden because it's damn near impossible. If you just keep sowing stuff, you'll get some success somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, bloody sweet potatoes, you go buy them, you throw them in a bucket full of compost, you leave them. If it's dry, you water them a bit, but in 10 weeks' time, you empty it out. You're going to have at least three potatoes in there, if not 20 potatoes.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody can do it. You don't need to be a gardener to do that. And then you've got beautiful potatoes. I know potatoes are dirt cheap at the supermarket, but they ain't going to
taste lovely. If you can get them out of there and back into there within 5 minutes or a couple of minutes, they just taste the best.
Exactly. Well, it's like the tomatoes. Pick a tomato off your plant and straight in your mouth. You won't taste anything better than that.
It's even better when it's a lovely warm day as well.
Yeah.
The greenhouse is warm.
Not any time soon.
No, definitely not. Joe, I'm so sorry about the. She's still having a moan at me about the strawberry plants that I didn't send her. I didn't send anybody. I completely forgot, and they all got all wanky and horrible.
Yeah, there you go. Joe's B&Q bed gave me over 5 kilograms of peas in one bed.
Bloody hell. Yeah, that's a lot of peas.
I mean, Joe's a prime example. Joe's not got a massive garden. She's a flower grower and she grows veg.
She grows peas up her washing.
Yeah, exactly. Grows it wherever it'll grow.
Exactly, yeah. Cucumbers, everything tastes better than you buy, everything. Cucumbers are awful from the supermarket, wrapped in cling film for days and days beforehand.
I really need to try cucumbers because I can't eat them. They repeat on me anyway, but I wonder whether that's a supermarket thing.
Did you see my one?
Yeah, it's ginormous. I thought that was marrow to start with.
No. That was thicker than a Coke can. That was like that. Absolute whopper. What's he showing us now?
So the rejected dahlia that was shoved in a drug full of weeds is now being potted on. Look,
Ah,
I was half expecting it to have been eaten by a slug, to be honest. But look at that. Even when you try and throw something away, it's still bloody gross.
it's just ready to be able to die down and then take it out again.
Yeah. Or I'll just leave it in there for the whole winter in my polytunnel. Be alright.
Yeah, brilliant.
There's one like that in the garden as well that has been eaten all year, and they've finally left it alone, and it's got to about that stage in the ground. It's been sat there.
How resilient are they?
Yeah, just shows
Unbelievable, aren't they?
they will not die,
Yeah.
even if they are massacred constantly.
Yeah, brilliant, aren't they?
Mark, try White Wonder.
Not known for repeating on you. Oh, yeah.
There we go. I'll write that one down.
I love
Have a look.
cucumber. I could just eat, crunch it, have a whole half a cucumber and just snack on it. It's lovely.
I'm writing it down, otherwise I will forget. Right,
Wonder. Right. But you've had your tea already, haven't you?
Yep. Sunday dinner was waiting for me when I got home from work, which was very nice. Just what I needed after today.
Yeah, I bet. Lovely. Nice and warm.
Unlike poor Chris, who got a parking ticket on his way home.
He did. I saw that on his stories. Poor bugger. Oh, dear. Right, I'm going to go.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thank you,
Thanks so
Julia,
much.
for being our guest.
That's fantastic, Julia. Thank you so much. And we will see you.
Podcast places for Friday, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
On Tuesday.
Everyone. See you later.
Bye.
No.
Bye.
Monday next week. No, Tuesday.
Monday next week.
No,
Tuesday next week. Monday the week after.
Yeah, Monday week. Yeah, forget me. Cut that bit out. Right. See you later.
Tuesday next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Through the Garden Gate.